Oh, wrong one. There we go. I forgot we have three people today. I was so thrown off there.
There we go.
You shaved, Todd.
I did shave.
You look like a completely different person.
I am. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Today is September 30th, and this is the 5th podcast for the year. We are getting ready for the season. This is it. It's upon us. Next week is the first week of games, and just like always, we kind of go through what the rules are, any questions you guys might have. So feel free to ask questions in chat. We'll get to them as we go along. With me today, as always, is Keith Kennedy.
Hello, everyone.
But then special guest joining us this week is Chris Terpstra. He's our Overwatch guru.
Special guest. I feel honored. That's very nice. Thank you.
I mean, you're only on like once or twice a year, so
I can make you feel not special if you want.
Better live up to that expectation, I suppose.
So we're going to be talking all about what's going on with the season this year. We're going to talk Overwatch first, and then we'll dip into Rocket League. Many of the things are going to be similar, but things are going to be different from last year. And with the NASF affiliate tournaments going on this year, kind of ups the ante for our varsity and scholastic tournaments, which is really awesome. And we're happy to have that opportunity. So without further ado, we're going to get started again. Go ahead and let us know what school you're from in the chat so we can kind of keep track of that and know what you're asking about when you have questions. And then we're just going to go through the Overwatch rules, and the tag should be in the title, right? I put the tag in the title. Yeah, Overwatch rules. I think that works.
And RL rules as well, yeah.
Yeah, OW rules and RL rules. Exclamation point. Go ahead and put those commands in if you want to follow along with us. Thank you very much, Undertuck.
Awesome. Terp, you want to start?
Sure, I can do that. All right, guys. So we've had a quick turnaround. One of the biggest changes from last year to this year is, or actually all of our previous years to this year is, IHSEA has traditionally held Overwatch in the spring, and with the affiliate joining of NASF, that now changes to the fall. So we just got done doing our spring session, a couple months layoff, and we're right back at it. So yeah, Overwatch gets run in the fall through NASF. That's our biggest change, obviously, for that. So with that affiliate grab, and what we're trying to do, which is awesome. We've got so many interested teams. We have over 16 for our varsity. We're getting real close on that JV. I've seen a couple more teams. I got 14 as of today, Todd. So
hey.
I think we're going to get it. We need to get 2 more in a couple of days. So hopefully we get some JV teams to sign up. But with those 16 teams and those, we are going to be running a state affiliated bracket, which we will have some control over on how things are going. So that's where that comes in as I scroll down. If all our dates hold, the varsity tournament, which is the Scholastic for NASF, that'll kick off starting next Wednesday, October 7th. And the JV will take that week off still to let teams kind of make sure they got their roster set up and everything else. And then the play-in tournament, the JV one, will start the following week on the 14th.
And for Rocket League, we're also on a similar time scale. They were running the pretty much same start and end dates. Well, not same days, but same weeks.
Yep.
And trying to get the same sort of thing. And a quick note is also keep in mind that NASF says default time is 3:30 p.m. And I'm not even out of school yet then.
Yeah, you beat me to that very next point. So we go through those weeks. We got a 7-week season for varsity for Overwatch, 6 weeks for JV, and then ending at November 18th will be our final week. And yes, default match time. So this is one of the biggest differences with NASF. NASF runs a 3:30 p.m. in your time zone default time. That's the standard time that everyone plays at, unless schools negotiate. We changed that because we're running an affiliated bracket, and within state we're allowed to change those times. So we have changed ours to 5 p.m. in the afternoon. What this means, a default time, in case there are those that aren't familiar with the idea, 2 teams match up. You're expected to play at that time at 5 p.m. However, if one team says, hey, can we play at 6? Or, hey, we can actually start earlier. We can go at 4. And there's communication between two teams. So whether it be the general managers talking to each other, team captains, we would always encourage that the general manager at least be included on those conversations. But the idea there is that teams are allowed to negotiate a different start time aside from the default. In our rules and in NASEF rules as well, any negotiation that occurs has to be done in writing. So it can't be done over like a voice communication or a phone call. It has to be done through Discord messages that everyone can see, so not PMs. It needs to be done, in our channels, and then or through emails that are logged. And at that point, whatever time is then agreed upon, that now becomes the new match time, whatever that is. And that's for all of our games this fall for Rocket League and for Overwatch. So keep that in mind on how the match time gets set up. Default is 5 p.m., but it can be negotiated outside of that. In addition to that, we are going to be looking to highlight matches every week. One of the other things, and I'll get to it a little bit later on about how we have our week set up from week to week, our schedule goes. We're going to try to highlight matchups. We're creating rivalry weeks within our scheduling system. So every week we're hoping to have a great rivalry matchup. Two schools that played each other, that maybe have some history, that enjoy playing each other, that are friendly rivals, all that kind of stuff. We really want to highlight those matches. We're looking to bring those to you guys every week for streaming. To do that, though, we want to make sure we have enough people to watch that. So we are going to start requesting some of those teams move their times outside of that 5 p.m. Default time, probably to something like 7 p.m., which will give everybody a chance to finish their matches, have some dinner, and then tune in for the highlighted match of the week for those respective sports.
And we changed that last year because it seemed to really we wouldn't get a lot of viewership. People are actually playing their matches because most of our audience is the players. Yeah. And so we moved to 7 p.m. That usually works pretty well.
Yep. So I'll let you guys kind of keep an eye on chat because I'm kind of going through the rule document.
We're good.
Yep, sounds good. So for right now, we understand rosters, they need to be submitted. Everybody's chomping at the bit to get that done for NASEF. And they haven't turned that option on. We're all waiting. But when it does happen, you only need to have the minimum roster amount for either esport, whether it be Rocket League is 3, and for Overwatch it's 6. If you have more than players than that active on your member list through your NASEF dashboard, and you have more than that's great. But you just have to have that minimally. Let's say you're still trying to get kids on board of their parent packet's not signed or whatever the case is. You still have a couple of days to get that done before rosters get locked for the week. And then, so it gives you a little more time. But you just have to have the minimum. So again, 3 for Rocket League, 6 for Overwatch. What's a big difference this year is that the numbers are the same. Overwatch is 6 on a roster, 6 substitutes, so up to 12 on a team. Rocket League is the same thing, 3 starters and 3 substitutes. But the difference here is that a player that's listed on a roster cannot play for another team or be listed on another roster. This is different than in the past. In the past, we've always encouraged our JV team to be able to play up to varsity. Varsity could never play down. But if you were listed on the JV team and varsity had a guy had a player that couldn't play and you got called up just like you would in any other sport, we wanted to allow that. Unfortunately, the way that NASEF is built with their roster regulations and the way that the league spot, the platform that we're playing on, doesn't allow players to swap between teams or move up like that. So for this fall, you will be locked into that roster. So make sure GMs that you're putting your varsity players on a varsity, your JV players on JV, they will not be allowed to move off of those teams.
That is a very important note to make. We need to make sure you have your roster set up correctly. I just about made a mistake myself when trying to set who's going where. And to be honest, you have to give my numbers. I'm just going to say, hey, varsity's these 6. None of you be gone. Because it doesn't feel fair to me to have a permanent sub if my entire varsity is going to be there constantly.
If you can trust that, that's great. That's tough. I always like to have 1 or 2 just in case you just never know someone's connection goes down. I just would hate to. I hate having to forfeit. So I always encourage teams, hey, have a sub or 2 or more, depending on how you want to work it. Not even so much for the rotation or something like that, but trying to get, working comps if that's what you want to do. But just to have that emergency, there's nothing worse than a forfeit. You wait a whole week to play and then the moment comes and you can't. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're building your rosters.
Yeah, and one other thing, just make sure if you're waiting for the roster still, just make sure double check that you've checked off all the boxes for your students and they're ready to go. that their parents have filled out their permission forms and everything. I think most coaches have been really on their students and their parents about getting those forms signed through NASEF, which is great. And I see people constantly reaching out to NASEF and be like, hey, what's going on? I'm trying to do this and it's not working. And I love that because that's what we need is just, if you reach out to them, but also let us know if you're having problems. That way we can, possibly push something else through, through the contacts that we have. So definitely make sure that all of your players, at least to get the standard team in so you can get the transfer over. Usually what NASEF does is they do have a lockout. So I think it's like 7 or 8 days. Oh, it's on there. Okay.
Yeah. It's not on here, but I'll talk about it in the scheduling system.
Okay.
So right now that deadline for the roster thing to get your rosters done is supposed to be this Friday. So yes, we're 2 days away from it. We'll see if it turns on. I guarantee you when it does, there will be a flood of messages heading out to everyone saying, hey, it's live. Get your rosters done as fast as you can. Just because everybody's kind of chomping at that bit. All right. Schedules. Another big change. Every tournament we ran in the past, we've done some sort of system, whether it be a Swiss or whatever the case is. We wanted to go, this is one of the main reasons why we wanted to run our own state affiliate tournament where we can kind of set these rules is because we wanted to set it up to kind of really emulate any other club or any other sport out there. Everyone has a set schedule. Before your season starts, who you're playing, when you're playing, all that stuff. So to emulate that, that's what we're going to do this year. So I'm going to take the teams for both varsity and JV, and I'm going to split them right now into 2 divisions. Depends on numbers. It could go to 3. We'll see what happens. But for right now, I'm going to split into 2 divisions, and it's going to be region-based, mostly north and south, usually around the I-80 corridor. It just kind of depends on teams. There could be some north of that would still be considered in the southern region, but I have to figure out again who gets all signed up by Friday.
Everything south of I-80 is downstate. Everything north of I-80 is Chicago area.
I understand that, but there's a couple, one I think I had to put Oswego in the southern one just because of
how the way it lined up. I remember that. I was like, Oswego's not really southern, but they were just the most southernmost school.
Yeah, the southern team out of the northern ones left. Yes, just to kind of balance it out. And I'm still playing with that kind of thing. So that's the big one is that we're going to create these divisions, and then inside that you'll play a set schedule within that division. One thing we want you guys to be able to do, and I know it's a short turnaround, but I've got it on the Google Doc, so go ahead and click on it. You can even enter it right now. A rival preference. So if there is a school that is in Overwatch that that's going to compete, and I can give those school listings later maybe, but the idea there is you guys can say on the Google form what school you're from and what school would you like to play against. If you're in that same division, every chance that we can, we're going to try to pair up every school that has a rival, make sure we get those rivalry nights going. After that, the rest of it will be randomly selected from your division. I'm going to make sure that the regular season schedule is posted. Right now, it's the Google Doc. Eventually, it'll get up onto the platform once I get the schedule all figured out. So I think I have some of the teams listed there. So I'm actually going to open that up real quick. Let's see. So if you go to the bottom tab of that map list and schedule and just go to October 7th, you can see the varsity teams are listed. And if you go to the 14th, all the JVs, they still need to get updated. I got a couple new ones I got added in, but you can kind of see how I'm looking to divvy that up and stuff. So you can kind of see at least the schools that have started, that have entered in, and you guys can start to pick rivalries or sign up for that. So I'm all for that.
So that form's just found
that's in our schedules.
It's found in the Google Doc, as a reminder, the Google Doc for the Overwatch Rules.
Correct.
Yep. As is the rival preference forms. Rival preference and the schedules are just links found in my rule sheet. Okay. Rescheduling. Again, different from NASEF. Because we're smaller and staffed free, I guess you could call it. We are all volunteer based. We need to make sure that we're using our time the best that we can. So while NASEF does allow matches to occur anytime between the default day of Wednesdays at 3:30 p.m. all the way up to Saturday of any other, and then the times can be changed on any of those days, we can't cover that many days with the people that we have, just for availability, and then again making sure that we are using our time wisely. So Overwatch will be on Wednesdays. And unless there's very extreme extenuating circumstances that would allow something needs to get moved off a Wednesday. I think last year we had flooding or I can't remember what was it in the spring that we had.
We had some school that literally could not like get to the school, and their power internet for the whole region was just cut.
Power. That's what it was. Yeah, it was crazy. So there was obviously things that we couldn't do, so we had to move some days. But we are going to run default days, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be Rocket League as well for their day, that people are expected to play on that day. The times, yes, you can move it to any time during that day is fine, but we really want matches played on Wednesday because that's the day I've set aside to be available for any questions or issues that pop up, as well as reporting scores and stuff like that. So again, you can agree to reschedule a different time, no problem. It's just got to be in writing. Once you accept that new time with the other team, that is now considered the match time. And then there is that. If neither team can play at the default time at 5 o'clock, and you can't agree on a new time, the default time is still the expected time to play at. So if neither of you guys can play there, then it's considered a forfeit for that week for both teams. Please respond to reschedule requests. Failure to do so can result in penalties being applied. And that it goes for all regular season and postseason matches. Anything else you want to add for rescheduling there?
No, we just definitely want to try and keep it as close to the schedule as possible. So if you know someone's not going to be available at that time, like try to make sure you have a sub in case, because we don't want the double forfeit. That's obviously not our goal. Yep. We don't want any forfeits at all. We pride ourselves on being a tournament where everyone shows up all the way to the last week. And yeah, we do have teams drop off after they play a couple weeks, but we always want to make sure that we have games go until the last week because it's good practice. It's good sportsmanship. Yeah. You don't quit the football season after you lose the first 3 games. Like you finish out the season, you finish strong just like the way you started. So we want to keep that motivation going with esports as well. Whereas a lot of people in other tournaments, online tournaments for esports, they'll play 3 games and realize, oh yeah, we're out. We can't do anything. And then they'll quit because they just don't have the infrastructure and support behind them to be like, okay, no, there's a reason still to play, play for practice, play for next year, play to make a difference as a program. Like just because you finish in the middle of the pack isn't a bad season. You always want to improve every year. So yeah, we definitely, we try to accommodate, but we do want to make sure that as many people as possible get to play at that time because we want to set aside that time. Some of our coaches are playing in 4 different tournaments and are busy every night of the week. So we want to make sure that this is our set time schedule, so they're not having to do a lot of rescheduling for that too. And then,
now, a thing to note here is also if you're going to need to reschedule literally every week, maybe this isn't for you. Because if you can't ever make the default time, you got to change something. Yep. We had a couple schools last year who always want to reschedule their games to like 9 p.m.
That's right.
It's not reasonable. And when you're asking for reschedules, don't ask for ridiculous times. I had schools asking for Rocket League last year, hey, can we do 10 p.m. start? No! It's a school night. So keep it reasonable at least, please.
Yeah. And Syed, Coach Syed in the chat was asking about how long it is. And it all depends on how many matches you play. Obviously, he's going to talk about how the match structure works. But usually for Overwatch, it's over within an hour. I don't think they've gone much longer than that, whereas League sometimes can be a 3-hour affair depending on how it goes.
League, I've seen a best of 5 drag out to 7 hours.
I don't want to talk about something. We're much more thorough in Overwatch. Thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
All right. There's all about the rescheduling. So as far as standings go, because we're not running Swiss now, we're running our other stuff. How is the standings going to be figured out every week or when we get to postseason and stuff like that? So obviously you have your overall match record. We'll get how the match structure works in just a second. So, but it's basically, did you win that week or did you lose? That's your overall match record. Map differential is the second tiebreaker out of that. We are going to be playing a specific number of maps every week, and basically, I can just talk about that real quick. We'll just move down to map structure and I'll pop back up. So match structure is going to be a 3-map set mandatory. You have to play all 3. It is not best of 3. It is play all 3. Regardless of how the first 2 go, you play the third. And here's the reason why is because of that map differential. If you win all 3, you have a +3 map differential that week if you went 3-0. If you won 1, lost 1, then won the last one, yes, you win the match, you won 2-1, and your map differential is now +1 on the day. And then obviously with the losing, you could be minus. You could have minus differentials as well if you lose a match. So then as the season goes on, that map differential will change per team. Yes, there's still possibles for there to be ties, but a lot of time that breaks almost every tie out there is that map differential as we move on. If that is still a tie after we get to map differential, teams won the same amount of games in the year and they have the same map differential. If they played each other head-to-head, in the season, that'll be applicable. Otherwise, whatever, there's another tiebreaker once our platform gets used. Basically, it's like a strength of schedule one is usually the last one kind of thing is who did you play against and how hard were they? But that's usually the very last tiebreaker. It's going to go overall match record, then your map differential, and head-to-head if you had it. But the biggest thing there, again, different from NASEF. NASEF says best of 3. Nope, we play all 3. First off, if you played best of 3 and you win the first 2 and you handily beat a team, you're done in 20 minutes. And that you waited all week to play 20 minutes. Let's play 3 maps. I've seen teams, lose the first 2 and all of a sudden find a way to turn around on map 3. Hey, now the map differential is only a -1 or a +1 instead of a -3 or +3. That makes a big difference as the season goes on. So very important, play all 3 maps. If we have an odd number of teams or we have buys, you'll get the match win, but there will be a +0 for match differential. If there is a forfeit, you get the match win and a +3, and double forfeits, both get losses and -3. So let's try to avoid those. All right. So I talked mostly about the match structure. I'm not going to go too much into the details about the lobby. I'll let you guys kind of read that, but basically winners or lobby hosts get to do some stuff. Losers and winners get to make choices throughout the maps. Biggest thing out of here is there's a predetermined map pool. So what maps you guys will play. First map is always predetermined every week as found in that map pool link. You guys can click on that if you want. But after that, it's usually the type of map that comes up next. So for example, in week 1, you start on Dorado, which is an escort. Map 2 is assault. The team that lost gets to pick whatever assault map they want to play on. And then the other team, so the team that won, will then get to pick if they go on defense or offense when applicable. Obviously, when we get to like controls, that's not applicable. But all the other ones, escort, assault, and hybrid, you get to choose attack or defense. And you just kind of pick from the pool. Right now, we're running all maps. I know NASEF restricts their maps. They only offer like 3 or something. I don't like that. I figure, hey, if you lost, you should be able to pick any map from that category that you want. If there's one that you guys have practiced on and you prefer to play, let's go at it. Even if it happens to be something like Blizzard World or Paris or, oh, wait, Junkertown. You're welcome, Keith.
Hey, no. We are not going to discuss Junkertown. Every time we played that map, like, we would play it in scrims, and like guys would go, wait, I have to?
Yep. So for those that play Mr. Kennedy's team, even if you're not serious, just say you want to play it, and then you can back out of it. Just say you're joking.
You will tilt at minimum both of my DPSs.
Yeah, someone was asking how long was the Overwatch season?
7 weeks.
Yep. So back at the top, it goes, if we start next week, varsity will be 7 weeks, and JV will be 6 weeks of regular season.
Yeah, as long as we start on time next week.
What's that?
I said as long as we start on time next week, that should be the case. If for some reason NASEF pushes it because then we'll go issues,
6 weeks for both. Yeah. If they push it back or we are delayed we don't go next Wednesday, then both JV and varsity will be 6 weeks, and we'll just go with that. Because I want to get as many weeks as we can before Thanksgiving. That's the idea. All right. Match details. Again, not worried about it. It's basically rules that can be found as far as how you set up a lobby, how the biggest one there, if I'm going to say anything about the settings, is make sure your guys' kill cams are off. When the kill cam is on, it allows you to see certain positioning and sometimes some other information that you don't need. Everybody asks me, can we run with skins? It's always optional, and the choice is always the host lobby. Some schools like to play with them on and be able to show off their stuff. Other ones want base skins because that's what they're used to seeing when you play competitively. So it's up to always the lobby host. So don't you can ask for it if you're not the lobby host, but don't get into a tizzy if they don't turn it on. Biggest thing as I go on is you got to have 6 in the lobby within 20 minutes of start time. So if you're 5 o'clock start, by 5:20 you got to have 6 players in. If you don't have 6 players in, you can ask for more time, but it's the discretion of the other team if they have all 6 to allow that or not. Otherwise, again, you have to have that 6. Otherwise, it's considered a forfeit 20 minutes from their official, from the agreed upon and or the default, whatever is your agreed upon time. Between maps. So this is a question I got asked today. Absolutely, you can have substitutes between maps. I think it's the same thing in Rocket League between matches, between games that you guys play. You can always substitute people in. You just can't do it mid-map. Obviously, not even Overwatch lets you do that. But yeah, so in your mandatory 3 maps after map 1, if you want to make some swaps, you just, before you start the next map, just let the lobby host know, or if you're the lobby host, just wait and swap out your players. You can have those players in spectator mode, but they just have to be specifically spectating your team only. That way they don't get an unfair advantage, because it's always just through the eyes of those players. So no yellow spectators unless they're streaming, unless it's IHSEA streamers. Otherwise, you should have never have yellow spectators in Overwatch. Pauses, I'm not, all the rules are there for that. Man down. If you lose a man during a match, reconnect and they can't get back on, you can finish a map man down. You cannot start a map man down. If you have a man down, you want to wait for him, you get to use one of your 3 pauses, basically like timeouts. Make sure that when you guys are requesting pauses that you're not doing in the middle of a team fight. That's one of the big no-nos in Overwatch. Just wait till the team fight's over, then request your pause if somebody DC. Don't try to do it in the middle of it. All right. Score reporting. We're not exactly sure how it's going to go yet.
Yep.
We have a system in place in IHSEA. We're hoping that League Spot's going to have it. Again, we've been told that they are, so I'm going to kind of go with that right now there's going to be a way inside our platform in our tournament where you guys are going to be able to submit these screenshots instead of giving them to the IHSEA server or the Discord, that you're going to be able to actually upload them right into your bracket on League Spot. So I don't have to worry about sifting through a whole bunch of posts on Discord now. So that's the plan there. So this section will change for score reporting once we confirm that this is all happening and we're good to go. But we're somewhere you're going to be asked to upload a screenshot. I would love it if both schools do it, but we definitely, obviously, the winner can upload their screenshot. And then if I see that there's a disagreement on who won, then I can look at those screenshots and kind of go from there. Let's see what else. Yeah, disputes and match uses. So disputes, anytime there's an issue in a match or there's a dispute, it has to be brought to my attention as the tournament operator immediately. Cannot sit on it, can't wait till the match is over, can't wait till the map is over. Call for a pause, let them know that there's an issue and that you need to contact the tournament operator, and we're going to keep it, do it that way right away, handling it without so don't try to finish a map, like, oh, we'll just finish it and then handle it. Nope. Pause it, get it to me right away, and we'll handle it there. Code of conduct. So we use NASEF's code of conduct specifically for Overwatch. These are questions that have been asked before. Yes, sprays are allowed. Squatting to hide or to move silently, yes, they're allowed. However, sprays or squatting over an opponent or after a whole bunch of eliminations, make sure we're not doing it over a body. I don't think that needs to be said. That's clearly intentional and not very sportsmanlike. You wouldn't do that on a football field, walking over a player you just tackled and then squatting on top of them. No, that's not how that works. You guys can see the violations list there, so make sure that we're not having any issues with that this year. Streaming. Yes, we love streaming. Players, please stream all your matches. Schools, if you've got school Twitch feeds and stuff like that, yes, absolutely broadcast your stuff out. Let the other team know that you want to stream. Make sure you have a stream delay so that there's not issues with someone watching your stream and getting information off of that. Your streamers have to be on whatever team. So if you're streaming for your school, it has to be blue or red, whatever color your school is. You cannot stream from a yellow perspective. Only yellow perspective streamers that are allowed are the IHSEA or NASCF streamers that can then sometimes take spots up in your observer modes. Last part of this is postseason. Again, this is tentative. It may change. I don't know, depending on teams, because if I go top 8 teams from each division, that's 16 teams. If I got 19 teams, that only means 3 don't make the playoffs. So right now we may bring that down to 8. We'll have to see what happens. So this is still kind of flux. But you guys can see at least the dates. We're going to try to do 3 weeks in December, or 3 dates in December, to try to get all of our stuff done. And then we'll work with those timings. The difference in postseason, we're going to go best of 5. So it's still basically 3 matches, but we're going to go with a best of 5 setup. So it could go longer depending on how things go. One of the coolest parts about being involved with NASEF is that our state champion gets to move on to the national playoffs. There's going to be, starting in January, there's going to be a playoff system, a double elimination for all of those winners. And then the top 4 out of those get to go to the top 4 national events in February. Right now, everything is scheduled to be online for those. But that kind of brings me to the end of my Overwatch document. I'll let you guys hit some questions up. I don't know if you got anything you wanted to talk about from chat or that I missed.
Yeah, I think we got most of them. People are asking about prizes and pricing. If IHSEA does any pricing, it does go to the school. We're not a cash prize type place. We want to keep amateur status for anybody who's doing NCAA activities, and also for your school in general, because you could also not participate in IHSA activities if you do earn money from certain programs. And with us being a high school affiliated program, we do not give cash prizes or even prizes to the students. We usually offer prizes to the school if we have them. Although this year, with the big event that we normally do is a LAN event for all of our finals, and we did it every spring because we normally would run the spring. We would do a big LAN event for all of the finals. We did one for Overwatch 2 years ago and for League, separate ones, and it was really a great activity to get everyone out all at once. But since we're not doing that now, we're actually not charging our tournament fees for Overwatch and Rocket League. So our prizing money just completely kind of disappears with that, because that's where we'd pay for all the prizing and everything like that. So we're still going to get trophies for everyone for the first three places, and we're still working on trying to get some prizing for the school. Again, we usually try to make it esports equipment, whether it's mice, keyboards, mouse pads, microphones, bags, whatever we can get that goes to the school and for the school. I know 2 years ago, we luckily had a sponsor help us out, and they actually gave the school 5 chairs, like 5 gaming chairs. So that was really awesome for them to do for the champions. But we're still working on something, but it does go to the school. And like I said, it's always a trophy for sure. And then besides that, we try to get something if we can, depending on how the funds go. So.
Yeah. So there was I see a question in chat. Why aren't the matches 3 out of 5 instead of 2 out of 3? So the reason we're not doing 3 out of 5 is because if we basically playing a best of 5 in the regular season, that would be a really long match. You get a couple of close teams that end up playing 5 maps. You're talking your 5 o'clock start time is now 7-ish when you get done. If those maps go long, 20, 25 minutes each or something like that, if it's close teams. We're not looking to do a league night. That's, we're trying to stay away from making computers for 2+ hours. So during the regular season, we're happy to run just do 3 maps. And then when we get to the postseason, yes, then it becomes best of 5. But we want enough data points, but we don't want overkill.
Yeah. And Undertalk, remember, it's not 2 out of 3. It is 3 matches, no matter what. You always play 3.
Yeah, we're not playing it's not best of 3. It's mandatory 3 maps, regardless of how they go. You have to play all 3 in Overwatch.
Yep. And yeah, and that makes complete sense, because if you do go, when you play that 3 games, you do have that set time. You have to worry about it. That was one of the things I always hated with League. It was like, best of 3, and for playoffs, kids always ask, why is it not best of 5? And I'm like, most best of 3s
forever.
Yeah, and most best of 3s don't go to the 3rd game even at that point, and usually they're not even that close. So there is chances to do that at some point, but for Overwatch, that the 3 games I think is kind of the best way to do it. I think it definitely works better than the 2 out of 3, because like you said, if you get one team that stomps another, you're literally done in 20 minutes, because I've had that happen to my team several times.
Another question was, if a miracle happened and COVID disappears, which it probably won't, but will there be any LAN events that are tournament related?
We are looking for the winter and spring, maybe.
Yeah,
but that's a very strong maybe.
I've designed it where my finals end on a Saturday. If by the miracle of the Almighty comes down and we could pull something off, I put it on a Saturday just in case. Probably not going to happen. I'm certainly not going to hold my breath. But having lost that LAN experience last spring, and then obviously moving to this fall and possibly losing it again, I would love to have it. I would love to be able to do it as safe as we can and try to get something put together. But I'm also the realistic guy, understanding that, it's probably not going to happen. So we're going to hope, but again, being realistic, probably not.
Yeah. And then for the winter games, which is Valorant and Smash, their finals wouldn't be until almost spring. I think it's like February.
It's late February.
Yeah, late February, almost March. So that's a possibility. That's still up in the air. Obviously, we'd still have to follow all of the rules, whatever is the current rules for the state at that time, which might limit who's allowed to be there and how many teams we can bring. It might just be the final teams and no guests or anything too. So we definitely want to have some kind of LAN event if possible. And I pray by spring we have a little bit more leeway with it too. So.
Yep. There was one other thing I scrolled back up when I was looking at stuff. Somebody asked, and it was Coach Sayed asked, how is the lobby host determined? So the lobby host every week will be the higher seed matchup. So it's just like one of those things where if let's say you won the previous week and then whoever you're playing against, if they lost, that'll all come down through the stats, the stat process. If I can't get it to figure out on League Spot, if I can't get it to work, it'll just be the team that's listed on top, however that ends up.
Or first or on top,
I'm going to try to make it work stat related, but it may not. We'll just have to see.
Typically host the LANs. Well, last year would have been our first year that we're going to have a high school host the LAN. We were actually going to have the LAN for Overwatch at Naperville North until that got snapped up. But before that, it was mostly colleges. We've done Robert Morris University for League of Legends for the past couple of years. We were going to move it last year to Ignite Gaming Lounge, which is in Skokie. And then everything got canceled with that. But that was where we're going to move to because Robert Morris actually now is Roosevelt University and they moved buildings. And so their lab was not available for us for the spring. And then we also did our first Overwatch LAN was at NIU in Naperville campus because they had an Esports lounge there. So that's where our first one was. And that was actually a really good experience. A little small, but it was a good experience to be there for that.
Made it work.
It's a really cool lab. Yeah.
We know the kids love the LAN. We have fond memories. We all talk about, previous LAN experiences and stuff like that. We know how much fun that stuff is, just getting in person and being there in that kind of atmosphere. So we definitely want to try to bring that back, and we are working to that end. We hope to have something this year. So
I need to get Rocket League done before it gets too late here.
Wow.
Yeah, so I am done. I don't want to talk anymore.
Well, for the most part, Rocket League. First of all, I'm not the primary TO for Rocket League. I'm helping out this year still, but Coach Egan has taken over. I'm just here because I still know the rules, and he has other things to do right now. So
I think
most
he
of
was
the
doing
stable
his Rocket League tryouts tonight. I think that's what he was actually doing.
That's fair. Most of the stuff happens tonight. It's all more or less the same. There's some. I'm probably just going to go through the Rocket League specifics, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because almost everything's the same. Difference here, big one. We run our Scholastic tournament through NASEF, and that's where you opt in as the NASEF site, which is the varsity tournament, really. The JV tournament, NASEF does not run a JV tournament. It's called Play-In for Overwatch, I believe, Terp.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And NASEF does not do that for Rocket League. So instead, we're going to be hosting our own JV tournament, just like we have in years past. We're still investigating if we can use League Spot or not. It's up in the air. We're working on it. But our dates are the same. You can see them on the document. October 7th to November 18th, which is 7 weeks for varsity, and 6 weeks for JV starting a week later. Rosters, it's 3 starters and 3 subs per team, where, once again, your subs cannot be players who are on the JV roster. So, once again, we can't have JV guys play up to sub on varsity. They're just subs for varsity, which in my case, I'm just going to say, hey, you 3 are varsity, you better not be missing. But however teams do that, it's what they are. The opt-in date is still Friday, technically, but that's probably up in the air. Schedules, it's going to be, once again, AB regions, probably north-south, and looking at 7 or 6 week seasons, depending on which varsity or JV you are. We're going to do rival thing as well. The rivalry form is not in here. We have to go make that still. But we'll be doing a rival matchup thing still for Rocket League. So once again, it's going to be a set schedule to give schools a set sort of schedule, because Lord knows my admin has been asking for it, and I want it. It makes it easier to hype up matches when you know who's coming in advance, like 3 weeks from now. So we're going to do rivalry things just like Overwatch will. And reschedules are once again the same thing. Our default time is 5 p.m., not 3:30 like NASEF has. It's 5 p.m. you can reschedule if it is in writing from GM to GM or captain to captain, with preferably GMs in the loop. Once this reschedule is done, you're fine. But you have to get permission. If you guys can't agree on a time, it plays the default time, and whoever shows up, shows up.
One big thing, I don't know if you said it, for Rocket League, the day to play is Thursday. So Wednesday is Overwatch, Thursday is Rocket League, and so it's always back-to-back. And we usually try to schedule games accordingly, but we're following along with NASEF's schedule because it just makes it easier and it fits our schedule. So Thursday is 5 o'clock for Rocket League, and that's for both JV and for varsity. So just keep that in mind.
So some schools who play at labs have to free up lab space because you got to either postpone matches to get people in the new computers, or you forfeit the match if you can't reschedule. So this is a thing to note: is your varsity and JV play at the same time, so you have to keep that in mind when you're scheduling matches.
Keith, do you want the rivalry form? I don't think one was made for Rocket League. Do we just want to make mine just all of it, and because I can just have it where?
Actually, can you just make a copy of that and stick it in the Rocket League rules?
Yeah, I can do that.
And make it Rocket League looking, whatever, right if you change things like that. Yeah, thank you. These are going to be best of 5 series. I'll get to that in a bit. Regular season's best of 5. Initially last year, I thought best of 3, and someone went, "Hey, isn't that going to be like 15 minutes?" Oh yeah,
yeah, it is.
So it's best of 5 series. Certain points in playoffs are going to be best of 7, but standings are going to be done first by match record, second by your round differential. So if you win a week 3-0, that's better than winning week 3-2. Head-to-head result, if that's applicable. Goals for and against, if needed. But by the time we get to head-to-head ratio, that should about cover it. But goals for and against, if we need. And if we need even more tiebreakers, we'll cross our bridge when we get there. We shouldn't. But we have that in there if we need it. Buys, if there's a buy, like if we have an odd number of teams, it counts as a +0 for round differential, and a forfeit counts as a match win for the guy who didn't forfeit, and they get a +3, and double forfeit counts as a -3. Match structure. This is a thing we had issues with last year. Your round differential is your by the way, guys, your round differential counts with your wins or losses difference. So if I won 3-0, I get 3 points. If I win 3-2, I get 1 point for round differential. So hosting and team colors is really important. Higher seeded team, or higher in standings really, creates the lobby. Lower seeded team gets to choose team colors. That's not a big deal to us, to be honest. You can, in your Rocket League settings, you can force it to have default team colors, which is what I have. So even if people have funky team colors, I'm just going to force it to default, and I recommend most players do the same because I don't typically find a lot of need for custom colors. Please don't change colors middle of match. You have that in there.
I just put in your rival link where it says teams have the option to do a rival. You can click on that and it should go right to the new Google form.
Thank you, Terp. And once again, you can force defaults. Make sure you guys are starting when everyone's actually there. If a person disconnects middle of match, it's their problem. We can't fix that. Right now, the custom game servers are a bit wonky. So if they don't work when our first match happens, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Because so far I've had to restart matches 6 times to get it to work. You guys can take up to 10 minutes between games if you want. Most of the time, we just keep playing them out because we're already ready to go. So you say, hey, let's play. You can take those. You can rehost if you need to. So you can exit the lobby and restart it if you need to. That's all in the rules. And then subs, you can sub between maps. You can sub between games. You can't mysteriously somehow sub middle of a game, which Rocket League doesn't even allow for. Our match details are ripped straight from the RLCS. If anyone watches that, they rip straight from the RLCS. DFH, 3v3s, no bots, no mutators, 5 minutes, all platforms, name, password, or invite, US East. Normally they say US East or West, but given that we're all in Illinois, we're playing in US East. everything has to be in DFH Stadium. The normal one, not the weird one. I think it was like a night version of it, or a Lorraine version. Just play normal DFH, please. All controllers and keyboards are allowed. People who play keyboard and mouse Rocket League scare me. If I'm being brutally honest, they scare me.
I tried it because I couldn't find the cord to hook up my Xbox controller to my computer, and I'm like, how do I even do this? This doesn't make sense.
My hands didn't want to work, but we took 3 of the top 4 teams at state last year were mostly KBM.
Wow.
Which scares me.
Yeah.
Score reporting, once again, this is kind of up in the air because of how if we get access to League Spot in the correct way. But if we have a League Spot, you'll just put all your screenshots there and it'll take care of all there. If we don't have League Spot or something changes, we'll be doing it on our Discord in the, I forgot what it's called, RL Score Report, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
And you post is doing that, I think, right?
Yeah. Well, JV, if we use League Spot, we can.
If they have.
Yeah. So you'd post a screenshot, and you're going to usually report screenshot team A wins 3-2 team B.
Yeah.
If there's disputes, tell us immediately. I know I've gotten a lot of phone calls about that. Rosters for Rocket League are in the same state as Overwatch. We're waiting on NASEF to open League Spot.
Yeah, so
that's all it is.
We're hoping it soon. The nice thing is once it goes active, you shouldn't have to do too much besides the coaches. All the students should copy over, and you might just have to go in and create or update your account on there on the League Spot client. But otherwise, everything else should transition fairly quickly and nicely if it is done correctly.
For those who are asking, we are not changing match days. These are match days set by NASEF. If you, under an extreme circumstance that we allow, once have to change match days, like Turt mentions, some whole neighborhood's power went out, we will allow that under very specific cases. Otherwise, we aren't changing match days. It's Wednesdays for Overwatch, Thursdays for Rocket League.
Yeah, we've had much better success last year when we did that with teams being available to do it. We've had teams that dropped out before the season because they're like, oh, we just can't play on Wednesdays because of, Johnny has football and he can never make it on Wednesdays because those are his game days or whatever, or volleyball. And we said, that's fine. We understand. And that's unfortunate, but we don't want to have teams scrambling around to not play at the scheduled time that they set for this game. At the last minute, though, a week before, you don't go and say, oh, hey, if we got to play a game on Saturday, can we just change it to Sunday, or Monday? Because our guys really, one guy's got a recital to do. It's like, no, you're playing
That's
football.
Not how it works in professional sports or professional esports or collegiate esports especially. You don't get a choice because collegiate esports, you play matches every day.
Yeah. So so we just want to do that. And then also for score reporting, make sure you guys get the win screens, and you guys, if possible, you can get us the screen with stats, and that goes for Overwatch and for Rocket League. If you can get us the stats, we may have someone be able to compile that so we can kind of have a stats for the end of the year and a running stats list, just so we kind of can highlight some people and what they did. So especially Rocket League, it's really easy to get those screenshots with the scores from each game. That would be great. Overwatch, I know, is a little bit harder because it's a different screen.
Overwatch one, I would prefer for screenshot would be the MVP screen at the end, where it lists the 4 optional people or whatever it is that you can vote for. Because at the top it says win or loss. That's the biggest thing. That's the one that I'm looking for. But one thing it's to bring that up. I mentioned this earlier, and I didn't. During the spring, we tried to run an MVP voting. It was a lot of fun. We planned on at the LAN event inviting our MVPs from every team to come and hang out. Obviously, without the guarantee of a LAN thing, we probably won't do that. But I do think we're going to try to work in something with some of those stats. So still get that screenshot. That's the one we're looking for. Rocket League, like you said, that's a much more stat related screen that you're going to get. So that's what we're looking at.
So real quick to answer a question in chat, latest you can schedule it. If you're going past 9 p.m. for scheduling matches, you probably shouldn't be in the league. If you're going to keep saying every team should schedule to my schedule of 9 p.m., that's not going to work. Please keep reasonable. These are all students still. I know they all burn the midnight oil, but I want to make sure it doesn't look like we're making them stay up till 2 a.m.
Right.
We're following NASEF's code of conduct, which is be nice. Rocket League specifics, if you spam quick chat or type in chat and say dumb things, there's an issue there. We have a warning system in there. A thing I get asked every year, and every time is, are demos allowed? This has been back and forth, and we've had people leave tournaments because they don't want to deal with people getting demoed. It is allowed. It is a core mechanic. I don't care how much they do it, because generally, if they're demoing, they're out of position. If they demo and then still score on you, that just means they're better than you. Like, if they can demo you constantly and still score, that just means they're better than you. So take your lumps, move on. If you want to play the demo-only style, go play Battle Bus and go have at it. It's up to you. But demoing is allowed. It is not toxic. I know Flip's excited for that because certain players do that. I know what school is he from again? Chancho. Chancho is
from Rockford.
Rockford,
Guilford.
I had so many emails and messages about Chancho. Rockford, Guilford coach, wherever you are, yell at him for me. I got so many emails about demos last year. So demos, perfectly allowed, fine, don't care. Streaming. You're encouraged to stream your own matches because there's no way to cheat Rocket League. You all see everything all the time. Streaming matches, do it. I suggest a 1 minute delay at least, just to keep some separation, but there's no real issue otherwise. Schools can stream their matches, you can have spectators all you want. The maximum lobby size, I want to say, is 10? Or 9? I want to say it's 9. But just keep that in mind. I'd rather it be one coach per team watching, if at all possible. You can stream our matches for IHSEA. We're going to shoot for a 7 p.m. stream time again, and I'm picking up streaming this year again. So everyone who has me on their friends list still, and we're going to do it again.
Yeah, we're streaming, and the reason why we just say a 1 minute delay is like, yeah, you know everything at all time, but if you guys are making calls and actually communicating, it could, lead to unfair advantage. So just a 1 minute delay just for calls and things like that in the time, because if, it's only a few second delay, and if you guys are calling something or saying, hey, let's set up this play, and they hear it, it's just to more be, it's not like League where you can see the whole map, or Overwatch where you can see where everyone's at and thinking around, but there still can be advantages taken by that. So it is up to you to set that delay. And if you don't have that delay, it's not something we really can enforce if you choose to stream on your own, and there is no delay with it. So be aware.
And we're shooting for 7 p.m. stream time. If it ends up being 6:30 or 7:30, that's fine. But I want to shoot for around 7 p.m. because it's reasonably close to what I'm looking for. Postseason is pretty tentative because we're waiting on final team numbers. But it's going to be probably top 8 from each division, placed no bracket, and they play all the bracket rounds. I have the bracket rounds listed in the document. You can go look at that there. It's still 5 p.m. It's only best of 7s for all postseason. If we want to be mean about it, we can make the finals a best of 9.
Oh, God, no.
Oh, God. And then, once again, we're part of NASEF for this, so the varsity winners go on to the national tournament. And that national tournament has dates listed in there as well. First rounds are January 17th, then January 24th, then 31st, then February 7th, then February 16th through 18th.
Yep.
And that is all we have for Rocket League. Rocket League specifics really match Overwatch's rules pretty well because Terp writes a fantastic form. we just copy whatever Terp writes. But
coming soon, League of Legends rules and Valorant rules
with Terp formatting. So it's just how things have to work out. I know people aren't happy about certain parts of it, like the demo stuff. I know some teams aren't exactly happy about the demo rules. You can deal with it.
Yeah, again, if they're demoing you to BM, that's one thing, but they're more than likely out of position. So if you're scoring, that'll give them less opportunities to do that.
I mean, even if they are BMing, it's their problem. Like,
I think if we want to equivocate that to an Overwatch thing, is if you're getting spawn camped, yeah, that's maybe not the greatest thing in the world, but at the same point, like if you're able to get out spawn and you break that spawn camp and you're able to take out a couple of their players, they're so far out of position that's going to be very hard, especially if it's like a point kind of map. It's going to be very hard for them to get back to that first point by the time you move up there and get a good defense set up. So, yes, I understand a lot of people don't like spawn camping, but at the same point, Just understand that there are ways to break that. And then if you do, you actually have a very large advantage. So we're not saying that certain things aren't allowed, like demoing or spawn camping, but understand that by doing them, it can put you at a disadvantage sometimes.
Also, make sure you all respect the rule 1 of if two guys are stuck together, you stay together. Sorry, that's not a real rule, but that's just
No.
that's just community practice.
So the other thing I wanted to say is numbers wise, I know we talked about it earlier. We have almost 30 teams signed up for the Scholastic Rocket League tournament.
Hey,
and we have, I believe, about 24 signed up for JV. So we have a ton of teams signed up for Rocket League. We're super excited for that, and we're hoping to see you guys come out for streams and watch. I think Rocket League was the most watched game on our channel last year, which is awesome. Your fans are crazy.
They all wanted to see me stream all the games.
That's what it was. It's just
it's just all just me.
And then we do have right now, we're floating around 19 for Overwatch Varsity, which is pretty good. It's just a little bit higher, I think, than we had last year. And then we're sitting around that 14 for Overwatch JV. And again, we're hoping to get that to 16. So if you're thinking about doing JV, Overwatch, definitely get in the NASEF bracket now.
You can contact Chirp right now because he's going to be pestering you otherwise.
Right now.
Action Rewind for the Rocket League JV, we will send that to you. I'm hoping to get it to you by Friday. I'm still waiting to find out if we can use League Spot or not, because that would make it would basically change the way your team would sign up. And so we're trying to figure out if we can use that or not. But you should know, hopefully by Friday or Saturday, how to sign up your team at the latest. And then, plan to play next Thursday, no matter what, Thursday at 5 for the first week.
I believe that's all we have. So let's start kind of wrapping up questions here, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are no active roster question in chat. There are no active rosters on NASEF. You're right.
Still waiting.
In step 3 on your dashboard, if you manage your play-in or manage your tournament, you go to step 3 after you've done your team name and your waiver. Step 3 would normally have a pull-down menu allowing you to add names into your active roster. That has not been turned on yet. They're still working on coding on how to, in that drop-down, getting that over to League Spot and transferring all that data. So in previous years, they used Battlefy and it worked out. They wanted to do a different platform this year. So that's what the holdup is. They understand that everyone's chopping at the bit. There's been several messages posted. They're pleading for patience. We understand that. But at the same point, like Todd says, like, hey, let them know we're all here. We're all ready to go and stuff like that. So we're hoping to get that answer soon. I would imagine something by tomorrow, whether it be, hey, it's active or, hey, we're delaying.
Yeah.
I can't imagine they're going to wait until the actual deadline day to say we're delaying. So,
yeah,
but all we can do is wait and
like
see.
my students.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is just when I can see the numbers of kids who are active and not active. And right now we're sitting at like 50%. And I know some of those kids might not actually be playing. But if you have not signed up and you have not activated and your parents have not signed and your teacher did not go in or your coach, the GM did not go in and mark you as having the correct GPA and being eligible on the team, they need to go and do that as soon as possible because that will make that transition for rosters a lot quicker. If you go in and be like, oh, wait, no, he's missing this, or, oh, his parent didn't sign, so I can't put him on the roster, and that deadline passes, which is, Friday, I don't know what they're going to do for anybody in that situation. We'd want to get those teams out. We want to make sure that everyone's available to play the first week, which is next week. And it's going to be a tight turnaround to get schedules out and, figure out who you're playing. But definitely plan on playing and being available at 5 o'clock on both of those days, no matter what, just in case. And if NASEF does delay it, we might just do like a preseason week and say, hey, everyone, let's get on and practice this stuff. Because we already ready to play.
We're looking at preseason stuff frequently. I want to try to do preseasons for other games too, just to make sure we have some practice of how the formats work and how we can make sure that things run smoothly because there's always been a rust to shake off running a tournament every year.
Yep. And this goes for players and coaches and people running streams as well. I bet Keith doesn't even have a stream deck programmed yet.
Don't you call me out like this.
You'll get there.
So fun fact, when I don't really know a ton about stream decks, so when I went to go set up my profile for screen recordings last year, I deleted a couple scenes and went, wait, crap, I need those. And then I had to go remake the entire scene.
Nice.
I deleted one of the Rocket League scenes that had like 16 different things on it for all the scores and all the overlay scores.
Yes, but we can fix that this year, so it's not that big of an issue.
Yeah, we'll see. I need to talk with Tim about that.
Well, also let me know because I can help you with that a lot easier.
If you guys got any more questions, now's the time. Drop those in chat. We can talk about that. Kind of hoping. Yeah, we just want to get as much teams as we can in and get some nice numbers going. Are you is Rocket League still going to do two? You think two divisions, Keith, for sure? Or are you going to split to three?
Given the numbers, 2 divisions at minimum.
Yeah, I don't think we'll split to 3. Like we'd have to get a lot more to split to 4. Like I wouldn't want to split to 3 because we did that once for League and it made playoff seeding a mess.
Oh my God, you and me sitting over a spreadsheet for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
No, you run winner of division. That's 3, and then you have basically wild cards for the next top 5. It doesn't matter what division they're in.
The thing is, we had 3 teams with the exact same record.
You need more tie breaks.
And nearly exactly the same strength of schedule.
And yeah, same strength schedule, same record, and we're like, coin toss, sure. I mean, it worked out because what was it? The 7th seed went on to like semis, didn't they?
I think so. Yeah, well, and what we did, I think we just had a play-in. We had one day where all 3 of them just played like 2 games, and that.
Yeah, we had to just like test something like we're gonna because they're all from different divisions. We're just gonna manufacture a head-to-head record for you guys.
Yeah.
So sometimes I see some comments about different games getting played, whether it be Mario, Tetris, whatever the case is. Hey, if you guys want to, set up a little thing in general chat saying, hey, let's put together a little makeshift thing. We can't really do a lot of the mainstream or like the side things. But if you want to run like fun events, run speed runs, stuff like that, my school Discord is always full of that kind of stuff. So
yeah, reach out to your teacher or reach out if you have an idea you think the whole server would be interested in before you at the entire server. Talk to admins first.
Please don't do that.
You can't do that, but talk to admins first so you can so we can like kind of see what the plan here is and make sure that it's gonna work out.
Right. But we're always happy to listen to ideas. The rest of us, we love our games, obviously, and we won't talk about /played for anything on any of our games because we're all way more time invested than we care to admit.
Yeah, and for sure, and definitely check out if the NASEF extra credit tournaments. They do a lot of those fun games. If you're interested,
they have Overwatch this Friday?
No, they had it.
No, it's this week, isn't it? Or is it last week?
They had Overwatch last week. Week before that was Valorant.
Valorant is this week again, I think.
Minecraft Rube Goldberger, it's already done. I don't know. I think they were still doing it.
The first round is done with that one.
Yeah, that one's done. So they'll just they hold stuff throughout the year, Smash and other things. So good things to warm up on. But
all right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. The questions have kind of slowed down. Thanks, guys, for being with us. We're really excited about this season, and I appreciate you guys coming in here so that you can get this update. Let your coaches and friends know that this will be put up on YouTube. I'm going to try and get it up tonight, but it probably won't be posted till the morning when I get up at 4 or 5, somewhere around there, depending on.
My God, man.
I'm reverse every other gamer. I just get up early. That's what it is.
5:30. That's what I'm. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it starts the week of October 7th, Narwhals. It's not necessarily on the 7th. It's going to be actually the 8th. It's just the same week.
Yeah.
So just copy the Overwatch stuff.
Yeah, that's that copy paste feature. So they'll start on the 8th. I start on the 7th.
Yep. Correct. It's Thursday. It's Thursday. Yeah. Thursday.
Yeah. It's Thursdays. We just copied dates and forgot to change it.
Is it in there? Okay. I'll fix it and change it. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for being here. We will see you guys next week. Every Wednesday we do this. So if you want to come and hang out with us, usually it's me and Keith. I'm going to try and get some special guests besides the magnificent Terp here. Some coaches from your high schools, some coaches from college, some people in the industry. We kind of really want to get as many people on this podcast to kind of spread the word and, get people you want. So if you have an idea of somebody or some type of person you want on here, let us know. If you have connections with that person, that would be fantastic. But we will try to work our hardest to get them on here as well too. So
yeah. Awesome, guys.
Sounds good.
We'll catch you guys later.
Yeah.
Thanks,
have
everybody.
a great night, guys.